Comparing IVF clinics. Hi, I'm Dr. Malpani. I'm an IVF specialist. Online, you can find me at www.drmalpani.com. And in the real world, you can find me in our clinic in Colaba in Mumbai, where we've been treating patients and doing a very good job at it for the last 30 years. Now, one of the most difficult patients' decisions is which doctor to select. And this is particularly true when you're an IVF patient and you need to see which IVF clinic to go to, because 30 years ago there really weren't that many IVF clinics. So there weren't too many choices. You're pretty much forced to come to Mumbai for your IVF treatment, where there were just maybe a handful of IVF clinics in this country. Today, the pendulum has swung completely and you're spoiled for choice. There are most only 10 IVF clinics in the street where you live. Really, every gully, every nookard has an IVF clinic, no matter which town you're in. Every billboard seems to be an advertisement for an IVF clinic. So now that there are lots of IVF clinics, how do you then make a choice to which IVF clinic to go to? How do you compare between IVF clinics? Some things you need to remember. Now, for one thing, every IVF clinic is going to say they're the best, so that's not much to go by. It's very helpful to review the website of the IVF clinic. Now, let me explain some of the problems with that, because anyone can put up anything on a website. A lot of these IVF clinics will and do, sadly. We were the first IVF clinic in this country to have a website, and I'm proud of that. This was www.drmalpani.com and still is. And the trend we started is now something which is copied by all IVF clinics, but the problem is they don't even bother to generate their own content. They'll just copy and paste our FAQs or the book we've written or whatever else and just put it on their website. And I guess, all right, imitation is the best form of flattery. As long as patients are getting the information, that's fine. But remember, seeing is believing. So you actually should be looking for videos of walkthroughs of what the clinic, what the facilities are, what kind of equipment they have, who's their full-time embryologist, who's their staff, how much experience, who's the doctor, are they actually doing the pickups themselves, or are they depending on someone else to come and do this? You need to find out all these details. Now, the problem is, they will not share the ugly truth with you. They will lie or they will hide this stuff. And if you want to find out the truth, you need to do a little bit of digging. But if you want to do the digging, you need to do it digging after knowing what questions to ask. Because if you don't know what questions to ask, you're not going to get the right answers, right? Which means you need to become an expert before trying to find an expert IVF doctor. So the expert IVF patient is the one who can find an expert IVF doctor. And the clueless IVF patient is the one who ends up with a clueless IVF doctor. And I guess patients get what they deserve, and perhaps doctors get the patients they deserve. The important thing is that a lot of this information is now available online, and that's good news. You can check this out. So step number one is you can do a lot of your homework online. Again, don't trust everything you read on a website, because it's very easy to lie on a website, and sadly most IVF clinics will do that. They'll talk about stuff which they've never done. They lie about their numbers. The one thing they consistently lie about is success rates. You'll see ridiculous things like our success rates are 70 to 80%. I don't know where they come up with these numbers. Sheer lies. But there's no quality control. There's no answerability. There's no accountability. Anyone can pull up any number they like and no one can cross-question them. And this has in fact become an inflationary battle. One clinic puts up 50%, then you play the one-upmanship game, and a second clinic puts up 60%, and then the first clinic say, he's putting up 60%, I'm going to put up 70%. And they lie and they cheat and they fool their patients, and sadly patients don't understand. Patients don't understand what a success rate is. And they're extremely naive. They assume that all IVF clinics are honest and truthful and equally expert and experienced, when the reality is they aren't. If they were, then you wouldn't need to worry about comparing clinics, would you? The fact is there's a big difference in good clinics and bad clinics. Big difference in clinics who tell you the truth and clinics who lie to you. And lots of clinics will hide and stonewall and tell you one thing on their website and do something else when you actually go to the clinic. And what's even worse is at the time of a consultation, they'll tell you something, and actually at the time of treatment, they'll tell you something else. So they will just lie to you left, right, and center. And once you've paid up the money, you're pretty much helpless. And you don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to make them angry. You don't want to cross-question them. You don't want to express your doubts. And you're scared to speak up, because you're just a patient and they're the doctor and they have all the power. But patients carry all this resentment and anger. They don't like being cheated and they don't like being taken for a ride. And they will get upset at some point. And sadly, the reality is lots of doctors have brought this upon themselves. But if you don't want to be a clueless IVF patient who ends up going to a bad IVF clinic, the secret is do your comparisons. So look at the websites, ideally get in touch with them and ask them important questions and get answers in writing. I think this is important because they won't lie to you in writing, hopefully. I hope at least most will. And if they do lie to you in writing, you'll have some written evidence in case you need to go to court, and at least then you can hold them to that standard. If at all you needed to ask a question in writing, you need to ask only one question. Do you give photos of embryos to all the patients who come to you for treatment? Simple, one simple question. This question actually says a lot about you. It tells a doctor you're an expert IVF patient. You're someone who can't be lied to. You're someone who can't be taken for a ride. You're someone who's armed themselves with information therapy. You're someone who understands what's really important in an IVF cycle. Someone who understands what an embryo is, what documentation is, what photographs are. So this doctor will not try to take you for a ride, I hope. So in any case, like I said, do your homework online. It's free, it's easy, you can easily do that. You can send emails to all these guys. I'd encourage you to do that. Ask them valuable questions. Send copies of your medical records by email. See if you get a reply. See whether they're willing to analyze your problem, try to help you find a solution, or whether they're just interested in getting you to come to the clinic for a consultation and sign up for an IVF cycle. And lots of clinics are designed to do that. Their websites actually serve as what are called customer acquisition tools or lead magnets. You call them up and the standard is, oh, you want to find out? Come to the clinic. You want to find out? Come for a consultation. You want to find out? The doctor will do a consultation and tell you more, which perhaps is a reasonable answer, but most of the time for generic questions, they can easily be provided with generic answers online in writing. Once you've created a short list of maybe 3 clinics, this depends on you. You could choose clinics based on convenience, on locality, because you don't want to travel, because you have budgetary constraints, or because you want to go for the best. That's up to you again. You then need to interview clinics. And I think this is really important when you're comparing clinics. Because the first time you go to an IVF clinic, you don't even know what questions to ask or what to expect. You're pretty clueless. But it's like perhaps the first time you ate Chinese food. You went to a Chinese restaurant, you ate whatever you got because you didn't know any better. But the second time you went to a new Chinese restaurant, you knew exactly what was happening, what to look for. You were better able to order, for example, so many things. And it's exactly the same thing with an IVF clinic. The second interview, you're in a better position to ask better questions to the IVF doctor. Not only will the first IVF doctor have educated you a little bit more about what to ask, you can triangulate, you can cross-question. And there's nothing wrong in asking the doctor, why are you a better doctor than Dr. X? Or why should I come to you as compared to someone else? And it's worth seeing how they answer that question. A good doctor will never badmouth another doctor, but will explain perhaps what makes them different or special or whatever else it is. And it is your right to ask these questions as a patient. And it is, I think, the doctor's, I shouldn't say right, responsibility to actually answer your questions. Because the more you know, the happier you are. And that way the expectations are much more realistic and both doctor and patient are on the same page. So if you're looking for clinics and you want a clinic which is open, transparent, will share information with you, which is high tech with high touch because we don't have any doctor assistance. We take care of all our patients. We do everything hands-on. We do the scans ourselves. We choose the protocols. We do the consults. We do the follow-ups. We do the egg collections, we do the embryo transfers, everything under one house, and we don't do anything else, then Dr. Malpani's clinic is perhaps the right clinic for you. In any case, find out more. So go to our website, that's www.drmalpani.com. If nothing else, that's a great starting point to find out more about IVF so that you become a well-informed expert patient. You arm yourself with information therapy. You can then use that information to check out other websites. You can then use that information to then go interview other IVF doctors to make sure that you get the right answers. And if all this information we can give you can help you to have a baby, I'll be the happiest person alive, because that's the reason I became an IVF specialist, to help infertile couples to complete their families. See you.